Welcome to episode 4 of Expand, Orthodontic Insights with me, Dr. Daniel Ramos. In this episode, I tackle the important topic of the environmental impact of clear aligner treatment with my guest, Dr. Lotte Meereboer. She makes some important points that I believe every dentist should be aware of it. So, let's get started. For today's episode, I am bringing a very important topic. Aligners. Is the planet smiling? And in my opinion, no one better to discuss this with me than my colleague and friend Lotte Meereboer. This is the part that you need to help me later, okay, Lotte? This is difficult for me coming from Brazil, but she is a very experienced dentist treating patients with aligners from Netherlands. She owns a clinic and she's doing more than 4,000 cases, right, Lotte? And also, she's the founder of the Dutch Aligner Society. We are meeting very often in congresses, and this topic, we discussed it already, and today I think it's a great moment for us to bring it back. Welcome, Lotte.
Thank you. So honored to be here with you.
My pleasure. I remember meeting you in a congress in Apeldoorn, right? And you were the first doctor who opened my mind for some topics that I need to confess, I wasn't thinking about them, okay? About this impact that all this technology are causing, okay? The first thing to mention, because I don't want to transmit the wrong message, we love aligners, right? And we love technology, and we are using to provide best care for our patients. But what is the cost for the planet? What's your opinion about what is this technology, the downside of the technology that we are not maybe noticing or we need to start thinking about?
Yeah. So I've been doing these treatments about 15, 16 years now. And of course, I saw enormous growth and ask for orthodontic treatment in general, and especially aligners. It's just, it was already a few years after I started, I was considering, wow, how can this huge package from enter my clinic with aligners from UPS, of course, always. And it's a huge package, individually packed, and then another bag, another box with more plastic, and then finally those aligners in huge amounts. I thought, well, but this is totally different what I have in my hand compared to a handful of brackets. And I was already questioning the volume and the material. Where does it come from? And it has to fly from other countries, other continents, be transported. So it was, I had questions, many very early already.
Yeah.
About.
It's a huge difference in terms of type of material, right? And quantity. And plastic, we know it's very challenging in terms of recycling, in terms of not how it's getting to our clinics, but what we are going to do with all this material after, right? I don't know, in Netherlands, in Brazil, when I was practicing there, we used to have a whole program for recycling. And how is this process for you, Lotte?
Yeah, in like 10 years ago, we already had in the Netherlands also questions about plastic bottles, bisphonates, BPA in plastics, hormone-disturbing substitutes. So the whole plastic question was already going on from 2010, 11, and we needed to recycle more. Today we have huge plastic containers where all the households need to bring their waste to. So this is apart from my job, my clinic, but it's going on all around me. All the other companies around me, like lawyers, anybody around me is doing something with recycling except for us. That was strange in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree that we need to be a important player in this game, right? I can see an example completely out of our business. I am a huge fan of music, and I like to collect vinyl records. And recently, I received one from a good friend on my birthday from Coldplay, and I really love them. And I was reading, and the material they're using to manufacture the vinyl is from recycled plastic, and all the papers were recycled. So, and this is something that is much less plastic than a package of aligners, and I'm going to use a lot of times, multiple times in my life, and it's going to be there with me for my whole life, and maybe I'm going to leave for my kids. So we are talking here about a lot of plastic that we are using once for a patient, maybe 1 week, 5 days, 10 days, 14, depending on your protocol, right? And this is something we need to actually start making pressure maybe, or discussing with the companies, because in the end, everyone should do their part, right? But the biggest responsible, I believe, in my opinion, is also the companies. I don't know your opinion on that.
True. But it's not only the aligner itself, it's also all these models that are printed and all this liquid material for those for the vinyl.
Great point.
And
yeah,
and the waste around the manufacturing, it's insane.
we have been, maybe the clear aligners are the most visible part, right? Because this is the end, the final step that gets to us, and they leave this responsibility with us, and we need to find ways to better recycle. But you raise a very important topic here. To get to the point to have the aligners, there's a lot of processes, right? In terms of printing, and this is also a lot of materials.
Yeah, now it's more open to us how to manufacture our own aligners or retainers. So as dentists, orthodontists can buy their own printers now. So now we step into this technician lab work, and now we find out, well, there's much more going on there than we even thought of. So, but yeah, there are some people or some companies that developing new materials, even a plant-based plastic, which is a bit less toxic even maybe. But we have to get rid of our plastic demand in orthodontics.
And in your opinion, Lotte, we, at this point, everyone who is listening understand that we are talking about how aligners can be, let's say, greener, more compatible with nature. But how, right? This is a good question, because we know sometimes companies, business, they are more focused on numbers, and they close their eyes for some parts of the process. But if we could create an ideal system, I know the ideal is maybe impossible, but a better system, where you would start in the plastic, in the process, in the way we are printing, or the number of stages. How do you think it could be a good... This is something we can discuss here and create something together, but in your opinion, how would you start making aligners greener?
Yeah, I think the first question is, what do I want as a person, or as a mother or father, for my children? How do I want to leave this planet eventually? And is what I'm doing contributing to a better world? And the main question is this whole idea of perfect dentition even something that I should worry about, or my clients should worry about? Is it not more back to basics from, hey, why are we like this? And where are we fighting for? Is it for the perfect bite? Is it for occlusion? Is it for aesthetics? Or is it for actually staying healthy? Are there not other ways to stay healthy? Are there not other attacks from all around us that keeps our children unhealthy and having them unhealthy habits, deforming their jaws when they were already young. We should go back to basics, really in the beginning. This is only a reaction what we're doing on unhealthy habits, I think, eventually. The air should be more clean. The water should be more clean and without microplastics.
Daniel Ramos here, just taking a quick break from this podcast interview to tell you about the DSD Aligners course. I host a live stream course where I teach dentists how to treat all their orthodontic cases with aligners, from simple to complex, with clinically validated and science-based protocols. The course takes place over 6 weeks and has 2 weekly sessions. Whether you are established Invisalign or clear aligner provider, an orthodontist, or a general dentist just starting out, this course curriculum covers the common challenges with proven systems. To get an idea of what the course is about, you can access a taster class free of charge on the web page that is linked in the notes of this episode. Be sure to check it out, and I hope to see you at one of these upcoming courses. Now, back to the episode. We started talking about plastic and aligners, but this is a consequence of a lot of other things that we can do, maybe much simpler to do, and changing habits, right? And the way we are evolving as human beings because the food we are eating, the way we are processing. And well, this topic is big, right? It's incredibly giant to discuss. I really like you bringing these because as orthodontists and dentists, the sooner we can guide parents to prevent, one patient that we can prevent early, it's less plastic after all, right?
But if they come when they're 6 to our clinic with a congested nose and no breathing, asthma and glasses on, and everything is gone wrong, no sports, then what am I doing? What am I fighting for? Who is attacking all these young children? From where? Is it on TV? Is it commercials from other food chains? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we spending our time and money on?
Yeah. So as I'm understanding here, the first thing you do to make aligners greener is, before getting to aligners actually, is to maybe better education, changing habits, and taking care of our children, right? To notice that something is going there, and to help society to understand this is an issue. This is like a pandemic that no one is talking about, right? About everything.
In Holland, the last 20 years, we've spent 4 times more money on prevention, all from healthcare. But the dental health of children did not improve in 20 years. It actually got worse. So there are so many children dentists around here, putting them under full anesthesia to pull out those cavity, their decayed molars. So it's crazy. We've spent so much money in prevention, but actually it was not working. So there must be another way how to deal with this.
Yeah. And how about the plastic itself? You are aware about any new technology that is creating a better plastic to manufacture aligners, something that can be more easier recycled? Because the plastic we are using nowadays is it's a contaminated plastic after the treatment, and it's very difficult to be accepted in a regular recycling company, right?
Of course, we have the graphene material. At least they don't make models. That's the
direct printed aligners is an interesting concept, right?
Yeah, correct. Or the Natur aligner from Switzerland. That's plant-based.
Okay.
Not so sure.
Plant-based. Nice.
Yeah. But organic gum, like chewing gum, is not really organic either. You cannot just throw it in the bushes and it will disappear in a year. It also stays there 100 years. So, but C chain is not from orthodontics, but the carbon chains are very strong. So you cannot just make any plastic made from carbon is not so easy to degenerate.
Yeah. So, but there is some movements, right, from some companies looking, because maybe there is someone who is listening to us now. We're talking about aligners. Everyone knows what aligners are. But to have an aligner, the normal process is to print a model, right? And then to mold this aligner over this model. And this printed model is a lot of more material that we need to get rid of, right? And this new technology that is coming, and I believe most companies, they are looking for it. And it's good for all sides because it's less cost, I believe, in the end, less time, but to print directly the aligner. So this is maybe one step in a good direction, right?
Again, we do have to do a lot of research about monomers in blood, in saliva.
Yeah.
And now we're giving all our patients night retainers made of the same plastic again, polyurethane mostly. But we have to double check the blood levels of microplastics.
And there is one paper that we were sharing in advance that I really like it and like the title, Orthodontic Aligners Between Passion and Science, because a lot of times we fell in love with a new technology and we started using, and it's amazing, but sometimes we don't stop to think about the impact and if it's really good. And aligners, in my opinion, for me at least, happened like this. I started using and then I click it and wow, I cannot give a step back. But in terms of science, right, there is a lot of chemicals and a lot of components in a plastic, and the studies are showing that there is risk, for example, with the friction to release some microparticles of plastic. And we have bisphenol A that we need to take care. So what do you know about it? You don't need to provide me any data, of course. These articles later, we can leave a link. But what the science is saying to us at this point?
Yeah, it does release some, but very little. And eventually we inhale, we drink microplastics a lot. So it's not just from aligners.
Of course.
There'll be combination. Yeah.
Well, for me, when I was a kid, I remember that my mother passed when I got hurt and injured, some mercurium, that it was used. And then some research mentioned that it's not good. I remember also that my father saying to me that to eat a lot of eggs is not good for health, and now it's good. So, of course, with time and with the researches and investigations, we will know more. But it's important for people to know that right now we have a lack of studies, right? We need more studies to really understand what is going on with our body after we insert a plastic in our mouth and leave it there for how long we want our patients to use, 22 hours per day, right? So pretty much
and after
full time.
For the night.
Yeah.
For the night, rest of their lives.
Yeah, and the retainers. So this is something that in the past, of course, we didn't use it, right? It never existed. And braces, also we use metallic braces, arch wires for a period of time, and then we remove it. But aligners and retainers is pretty much the whole life, right? So we know at this point, and please confirm, or if you have any extra information, that it's known that some particles of the plastic can be released, but the level that the studies are showing, probably we can our gastric and digestive system can get rid of, right? There is any data showing association, for example, with any disease, any to the increasing the rate, or at this point we don't know much about it.
No, it's fortunately not. No, it's because we have so many other contacts with plastics around us. You cannot, like amalgam, you cannot really point out, well, I got sick because of this filling, or no.
Yeah.
Still hard to prove, yeah.
Yeah, well, every time as a dentist, we are sometimes placing new materials for a long term, right? And we use a lot of metal, so aligners is kind of new, right? Even though we use plastic with acrylic for patients for a while, but the plastic we're using that needs to have these characteristics, right? To have some resiliency and also memory, so we can generate force to promote the movement. This is a kind of plastic that it's new and it is evolving very fast, right? So,
and if you, because I request all the safety data sheets from all the companies that I work with, but most of them just keep their recipes as a secret. They just say mixture on the 30 pages. So it's just very hard. I mean, we know a bit more about breast implants by now. We don't want to be the second department with plastic problems as the breast surgeons have.
Yeah, maybe this is a great point you raise, because every company, they keep this recipe, right, of their plastic as their secret sauce, like the Coca-Cola formula, and they are not delivering. And maybe this is make it hard for someone without any bias to do a proper investigation, right? So normally what we know comes from the companies, right? And they are doing their own researches, but we don't actually know because we don't have all the information. I wouldn't know how to interpret it, right? Because I don't know anything about biochemics and this matter, but for someone who is involved and wants to research, or he's inside a company, or he won't receive all the data he needs to know, right? So this is tricky, and probably this is one of the factors that is causing this lack of information in terms of the plastic, okay? For those who are listening, though, I don't think it's we need to be worried about it, of course, but it's not. We are not saying that you should stop using aligners. I believe that is not what you and me were saying, right? It's a great technology that until now we have thousands of cases, right? Just you have more than 4,000. We have here a lot of cases we have been treating in our treatment planning service, and some from time to time we can see some reaction, some allergy, right? And this is something that we have been using for more than 20 years. Of course, it's changing. So, but it's important for us to investigate, and we are talking about our health, okay? Now, moving back a little bit to the planet, Lotte, besides the plastic, besides the production of these materials, what came together with aligners is the digital technology, right? Software, scanning, the clouds, energy. In that sense, the data that we need to save somewhere. In the past, I remember in my clinic, we need to have a big room just to put there all the cast models, right? And now this is good because I don't need to rent a big place. I can be in a smaller place, but I need to save this information somewhere. Do you think this is something that we need to be concerned? This is something that is somehow creating any harm to our planet? What do you think about it?
Yeah, in Holland, so we have in huge number of data centers, big blocks raising next to highways. So somehow the big companies like Holland for being here. So they're absorbing, you are using a lot of energy. All the windmills you'll see are used for Google, Amazon in Netherlands. A lot of subsidized go there. So somehow we are kind of green country, but it's used for even more huge amounts of data. And it's not only from our scanners, of course. It's used for many, many, many other things like videos, music, emailing. But an email is using as much as CO2 or energy as 2 paper letters eventually. So not so sure if a paper letter is better for the environment than an email. You have to really take care of your inbox as well to clean it up and throw away things. All this data should be erased on time and deleted. Yeah. Also scans maybe of the patient. Yeah.
Because when we think fast and compare writing and using a sheet of paper and sending an email, the first thing comes to my mind, okay, I'm saving a tree here by doing an email, but how the energy to make this wheel keep rolling about sending a lot of files to the cloud and saving. So this is a tricky discussion because it's very hard to put the balance understanding where is the best way to go, because from one side, I don't believe we can give this step back, right? I'm not defending that we shouldn't use technology. I am in love with technology. I really like this topic. But again, if we don't question when we realize that something actually is causing some problem, sometimes it's too late, right? And this is something not only scanners and orthodontists and dentists, it's a problem that everyone, we have on a smartphone, everyone is connected, everyone is using data and files, and there is a lot of energy involved, right? And to create this energy, we need to understand if it's something that is going to be viable for the planet.
And our children with straight teeth.
Exactly. Yesterday I was talking about this topic with some friends, right? And they start saying that, but it's kind of too. It's not too much to think that all this data is going to be worse. What's the word I'm missing here? Like I am too paranoid, right, about this. And I need to say that in some level we need to concern about it. Of course, we need to at least investigate, to try to find better ways. Because my next question to you is, as dentists, orthodontists, we're there with our business. We want to offer the best for our patients. Our patients are coming to us asking for these technologies. Mm-hmm. How can we solve this math? How can we solve this problem? I don't believe we can do just by ourselves, but what are the measures that you as a dentist, you are taking, right, to try to make it better for the planet?
Make it more visible for the clients. I think patients should be aware from what am I ordering here, what I'm doing. In Holland, we have a term that's called vliegschaamte. So you feel ashamed that you take a plane. So if you do 3 holidays a year, you feel really bad. So one holiday is okay. But yeah, so even for flying, people feel bad about themselves. Or burning wood in your home because the gas bill is high. If burning wood, you feel ashamed because burning wood is very not environmentally friendly eventually. But people don't care about their health or going to the hospital, GP or dentist. They They put themselves up front there. They don't feel bad about demanding straight, beautiful teeth. And they feel they have a right for that. Is that really a human right? Question yourself what you're doing, how you're balancing, and maybe do something to compensate. We try to plant trees, buy another company. For every brace, we plant a tree. But I want to stay away from greenwashing again too. So,
I won't be able to repeat the term in Dutch, but as I understood, it's like being self-conscious about the problem, right?
Yes.
And to try to do our part to compensate whatever and whenever we can, right? Try to...
That will mean a lot of less consumption. That will, if it makes sense eventually,
And maybe one day, if everyone, including the companies, is having this same self-consciousness about it and trying to compensate the energy we are using more here with some avoiding some waste there, right? I feel this is the way, okay? Another comment I received recently from a friend is that, okay, us humans, we are like a virus to the planet. And somehow this is true because we are not here creating all these amazing inventions to the benefits for the planet, to our own benefit, right? And most of the times, until we figure out, we are creating harm. And as soon as we detect this, and this is why it's important, and now this is my opinion regarding how dentists can help, is for us to be self-conscious and also to make the questions, right? And to ask the companies, and why you're doing this and not that. Why you're not implementing this new plastic that you don't need to print models, right? And even sometimes changing from one system to other system, if it is the same quality, if it's the same efficiency, but this one is better to the planet, I feel that we should at least inform the patient to have the patient also participating in this process, right? And well, it's a team sport, right? This is not something that one person can do alone. But I really believe, I don't know if you like this concept too, but I really believe in the power of the good example, right? If you see someone doing something nice, the tendency is for you to see, oh, that's great, I should do this, right? The same way the bad example can contaminate, right? But look in the World Cup, the Japanese cleaning out their seats, right? Unfortunately, this is not something I'm seeing everywhere else, but it's a good example that hopefully one day everyone is going to do this. At least for my sons, I look, this is what you should do, right? It's not your house, but you need to take care. And I really admire the Dutch people, the few times I've been in your country, because you really incorporate this self-consciousness. What is the term again in Dutch you mentioned?
Well, we say vliegschaamte.
Okay.
That is
exactly this.
Further than consciousness, it's really feeling ashamed about doing environmentally friendly things.
Yeah. So we should all have some of this. Anything else?
Stay critical and ask things around you, and ask your suppliers from where does it come from actually.
Yeah. Well, considering that aligners are here to come, to stay, and I can see myself, I believe you also, using this kind of technology for a while. How do you feel that we can be like this self-conscious about not only compensated, but now talking about our job. How can, for example, if we create good strategies, right? If we invest time in the planning, if we invest time learning, going after the information to do a better planning, we can probably reduce the number of aligners for this patient. So it's our commitment also to make things right. It's our basics, right? It's what patients are expecting, and this is something that is going the same road, the same path as doing good to the planet, to avoid wasting, right? So in that sense, I know you are very engaged with congresses and you are part of the Dutch Aligner Society. As all the professors, speakers, the society have a great part of it, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Because this is something...
Sorry?
No, sorry, please keep going.
Yeah, this morning a new client asked me, hey, but how many refinements do you order here? Because I read things online and it can be down to 6, 7, 8 extra set of aligners. No, I do this many years. I try to avoid maybe one time, and if it's really bad, I'd order a second time and a new set. So, and we hardly throw away aligners. I work on my setup, so yeah, exactly. That's a good example how you as a ortho or dentist can reduce the number of aligners that you use.
It's being good in what you do. This is what we need to be, right? It's what the patient expects. And to do this, it takes time, right? We need to study. We need to go after the information. We need to get together in the Congress to learn from each other. I can see in Brazil, at least, people, the dentists, they used to charge orthodontic treatment per month. And sometimes if you finish fast, it's not a good business. So it's not the normal. I'm not saying that everyone is doing this, but a lot of times I was lecturing about accelerated orthodontics, biological modulation to try to make things work faster. But this is, I heard a lot of times, but this is not good for my business, because if I finish first, I'm going to earn less. So it's good for me to keep going, right? But again, this is a very bad way to think, because it's bad for the patient, it's bad for the planet, because it's more plastic, and it's not a solid concept to keep in your clinic, because one moment the patients will figure out. So to be good planning, this is in my opinion, the most important part, because this is where we're going to save a lot of stages, a lot of plastics, a lot of data and energy, if we can be predictable, if we can be assertive in terms of what we are planning there. And this is a great message to the patient also, right? Let's do together. You need to collaborate. You need to use the aligners. I need to do a good planning. And together we can finish our treatment faster, and also we can do a lot of good to the nature, avoiding unnecessary plastic. Right.
Sure. And be aware and conscious about that you're part of an industry and also part of this planet.
Yeah, for sure. We are all. I don't know another one, so we need to stick with it, and we need to treat it better, right? Well,
our only planet.
Yes. So in the end, now as our final discussion conclusion, okay, we know that aligners are here to stay. Topic number 1. We discussed some ways on how aligners can be greener, okay, in terms of reducing the number of stages. This is our job, making the plastic better, company's job, but we need to be making some pressure, right, to avoid unnecessary treatments, as you mentioned, right? To educate the patients for them to understand that there is a cost, right? Just because sometimes aesthetics, just because of some shallow needs, and it's really, really necessary, right? As dentists, in the end, and here I leave to you to summarize your opinion. The best way for us to do better to the patient as dentists, in my opinion, is to use wisely this technology and be the most efficient we can, to use only what we need of it, right? And avoiding the excess. So what do you think?
Yeah. Totally agree with that. Yeah, thank you.
Well, this is I took from you, from your words. So we build this concept together today. So I need to confess, I when we started this episode, I thought we were going to one direction, talk about plastic. I prepare about bisphenol A, and but I really like that we took a turn, and we're talking about much more accessible things that we, as not dentists now, human beings, we can do, right? And I think everyone who is taking the time to listen to you and to me today, the final mess I would say that is we need to be aware, we need to be self-conscious, and we need to do our part as orthodontists to use properly these technologies the most efficient way. Okay, Lotte, thank you so much for your time. I know you are super busy, being a mother, a dentist, a member and founder of the Dutch Society of Aligners, a lot of patients, changing clinics, and you saved some time to talk about this important topic today. I really appreciate it, everyone here and everyone who is listening. And I'll leave to you for a final message. It can be just a goodbye, whatever you want. And really hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much. I was, again, super honored that you invited me for this podcast or this interview. And my final conclusion, be aware, and knowledge is everything, I would say.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, now we finish this beautiful topic. Aligners is the planet smiling, and I'm more optimistic than I was when we started because I can see some direction. And thanks to Lotte, and well, thank you all for listening, and hope to have you in the next episode with us. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. If you are interested to learn more about any of the topics that Lotte mentions in the episode, take a look at the episode notes, as we have linked a number of journal articles. In the next episode, I talk to orthodontist Martin Pedernera. Subscribe to expand, not to miss it.